Welcome guys. In our last video we covered part of the box selector and we worked on the normal universal, which we are supposed to always work on in every of our CSS when we're about to start our CSS. And then we created a card and we styled the card, we did the padding, the margin, the border, and the content. But today we are going to go deeper into the types of margin, types of padding, and all. We are going to explore different types of them today. Now, we talked in our last class. We talked about how this padding can affect our content, how it can give it a breathing space. We as well talked about the margin. Can you see that our margin is obviously bringing our card downward to this level? So the padding, the margin is the one creating this. And then can you remember that we as well gave our universal. So now if I should remove all of this from our universal, and can you now see what we have? So this extra spaces that we have is from the browser, and we don't want our browser to get in the way. We don't want our browser to be a constraint and make our work look tacky. So that is the more reason why we are creating our margin to be 0 here. We are resetting our browser. So here, can you see the universal sign, which means that we are resetting our browser just for us to be able to explore to the fullest the kind of styling we want our users to see. Now, today we are going to talk about the padding, and I want you guys to see all of this as a shorthand. We call this a shorthand. We call it a shorthand. We call this too a shorthand. We call this a shorthand. And the reason why we are calling it a shorthand is because once we call just padding is going to work for everything in the four corners of the four walls of the card, inside of the card. It's going to work for it. When we call just margin, the margin is going to work for the four walls outside of the card. And when we talk about just border, the border just works for the four walls of the card. But what if we want to specify it, right? What if we want to specify it and say, oh, I don't want the four corners of my card to have this effect. I want just one part of it to have a particular effect. How can we work on that? Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just comment on this, and can you see that it has gone back to where it was? And now I want us to explore, right? So we've already commented on this, and can you see that it has gone back? Now we want to start with the margin first, and I want to specify that this margin at the top should be spacious. And how can I do that? I can say margin top. So when I do margin top, you should be able to, let's say I want to give it, what did we give it here? Let's look at it. So we gave it 20 pixels. So now let's do that here. So I'm just going to say margin top 20 pixel, right? And can you see? But you know what? I just want us to compare and contrast. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to click on my Ctrl Z and maintain this particular card, and I'm going to create another div outside here, right? And I'm going to say, let's call this card 1. Right, let's call this card 1, and I'm just going to say card 1 as well. I'm just going to call this card 1, and I'm going to adjust my card 1 here. Can you see that? Because the card here does not have, the card 1 here is already looking strange to the card we have here, so that is why it's not working. So once I click on the 1, it should be able to work, and once I click on the 1 here, I'm just going to make adjustment here too as well. Now in our div, I'm just going to create another class, and I'm going to say card 2. Right, so this in our card 2, I'm just going to create an H1 here. Okay, well, yeah, so I'm just going to create an H3, sorry, and say card 2. So I've created our card 2, and I'm going to create a P and say this is card 2. Now let's style it. Now I want you guys to see that. Can you see that this specific card is it does not have any styling? And if you should notice that the margin too is already, it's 0. The margin is 0 because we've not given it any margin, we've not given it anything, right? So I'm just going to come here, and we are going to call on our card 2. So I'm just going to call the class selector and say card 2. I'm going to give it a curly braces and I'm going to style it, and let's give it a background color. I'm just going to give it the same background color of what we gave the first one. So I've given it that, and I'm going to give it a width of 120 pixel. So we are going to give this a padding, and the padding is going to be, now if I give it this padding, I want to work on the margin first. So here I'm just going to work on the margin left, right? The margin left. Can you see that the margin here does not have anything, right? So I'm just going to work on the margin left. Can you see it already gave me here, and I'm going to say 10 pixel. Okay, so the margin we gave it here is 20. So I'm just going to, the first card, the margin we gave it was 20. I'm just going to say margin 20, and can you see that it already has a margin of 20. Now I want us to work on this. Width looks much, but I'm not sure yet. So let's give it a width of 100. I'm just going to give this another shorthand padding, right? And in the shorthand padding, I'm just going to do something. So this is going to work clockwise, right? And now what I'm going to do now is that I might just decide to give my padding top a different number, and my padding right a different number, my padding bottom to be a different number, my padding left to be a different number. How can we achieve that? Instead of, and I don't want it to be like this, I don't want to keep dropping it down, and so I just want everything to be on the same line. And how can I achieve that? Is by doing this. So it's by doing this. So let's say I want to give my padding top a 15px, right? So it had already given me a 15px like this, and I want to give my padding right a let's say 30px. I'm just going to say 30px, and can you see that it's giving me my 30px? So now look at this itself, right? What it does, no, let's just continue. So I just want to give my my padding bottom another one and say let's say 50px. I just want to, right? Can you see that is making effect? And now I want to give my padding left a 15, let's say 15px. So now can you see that everything is, so we have 15 at the top, we have 30 at the right, we have 50 at the bottom, and we have 15 by the left. So that is another way. Instead of calling everything and calling it one after the other, this is another way to name it. Now what if I want to give my I just want to give it at once, and I want my padding top and my padding bottom to be the same thing, and at the same time I want my padding right and my padding left to be the same thing. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to comment on this, right, and I'm going to start another padding just as an example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another padding, just one, right? We cannot call this a shorthand, and still is a shorthand, right? It's still a shorthand because instead of us calling it one after the other, we just can use this pattern. So I want my padding top and my padding bottom to be the same thing. So what I'm just going to do, I want them to be just one, and let's use 30px. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to say, oh wait, something is happening here. Yeah, so I'm just going to call my padding, yeah, and just going to give my bottom and top and bottom a 30px, and it is affecting it. Wait, oh, and now I'm going to give my right and left a 15px. And this is what we have. Now this might not look, you might not immediately get what is happening here. So that is how it works. If I should give it just two of this, it's going to work. This first one is going to work for the top and the bottom, while the 15px is going to work for the left and right. So if I should give it if I should just, let's say I made it like this. If I make it like this, which means this is working for the top, right? The 30 is working for the right, the 50 will be working for the bottom, and then the 15 will be working for the left. So that is how the shorthand works, and that is how you can explore different types if you don't want to keep everything if you don't want to make everything that way. So that is how it is. We are just going to do work on the border, and let's say the border I want to give it a border, let's say a border of, I'm just going to give it as border, and then I want to make the down border, so I'm just going to say, let's say 1px. You can decide to give it 1px or 2px depending on how thick you want it to be, right? So I'm just going to say solid. I'm going to say solid. It depends on what you want to do. This solid now is just meant for different kinds of solid, right? And let's say blue, right? If I should give it blue, can you see that it's working for everything? Now if I should come here and say 4px, let's start with this and say 4px, it's going to be thicker, right? If I should say 2px, it's going to be thicker, it's going to adjust. If I should say 10px, it's going to be very, very thick. Can you see that? And now if I should come here and change this solid to dashed, if I should give it a dash, can you see that it is already giving me a dashed style? If I should change it and change it to dotted, right, it's going to, can you see what it's giving me? So it depends on what you want. If I should remove this 20 and give it just 2, it's going to, can you see that? If I should zoom it in, can you see what it's giving me? If I should take it back to dashed, and it's going to adjust, can you see what is as well giving me as a result? And I'm just going to use solid. So because let's just let it be dotted, since we've been using solid since all this since the first and the second card. Now I'm just going to change. Now I want to come back here to this card too. Now we have 3 borders, right? I might just decide to say this should be solid and give the right side a dashed, right? And it's going to change, can you see? And I'm going to change this beneath this top one to be a dotted, and it's going to adjust. Can you see? That is how you can explore the boxes, the kind of boxes we have. So I want you guys to save everything we've done for today. So we've done the part 1, which I showed you everything we did, everything about a box, which we have the margin, the padding, the content, and the border. And in this particular video, we explored every kind of margin, padding, border that we have. I forgot something. Let's say I want to bring one of these cards to the middle, right? I can just decide to let me use this third card, and the third card I can just say the margin should be, I've already given it a margin of 20, so I'm just going to adjust this to auto. So if I should give it to auto, can you see that it is coming to the middle of the page? That is what auto does. Auto is going to adjust it. So all of this now is going to give it put it at the center of the page, of your page, of the whatever card or box is in, right? It's going to put it at the middle. So once it puts it at the middle, this right side is going to be the same thing as the left side. They are going to be balanced. Now I want to can you see what I'm talking about? So that is the work of an auto. Now I'm going to inspect. So if I should, can you see what we have? That we have the content, right? We have the content. This is the padding. Can you see that it's already specifying the kind of padding that we have here? This is the border, and this is the margin. The margin is the node color, or the node pink color beside it at this part. So that is how you can check how effective your boxes are. Now I'm going to check this as well, and if you could see that we have just the margin left, can you see that it's showing us that we have just the margin left, and here it's showing us that we have the margin and the padding and everything is going across the 4 walls of the card, as you can see, because I don't want to over on it too much. If I over on it too much, it's not going to show you what you are going to see. So can you see now that everything is being obvious, and it's showing you how to read it? So that is how to read, and that is how to create a box or a card. Now, and I'm going to see you guys in our next video. You guys should give comments, share this to anybody that needs to know how to create a box model, and give your comments, do your assignments, and we are going to see in the next one. Bye.